Hi everyone, it's Loki. So, class 14. This is actually something that a friend gave me an idea for, and I thank you a lot, Zipporah. I've been needing to figure out more class ideas, and you gave me one. You're a gem. But I do have one or two announcements. One, this is for anyone who follows Heathen Haven and stuff like that. After it does come back, guess who will be able to host again? This is the stupid part I needed for the HDMI cable. You have to hook this part into the Mac and the HDMI cable into this, because older Macs and some of the newer ones as well do not have an HDMI hookup. There's maybe one or two that I've ever seen that do, but most of them have this little adapter that is $7 to $15 depending on where you go. I got for free from work because they were throwing out a bunch of stuff, and they're like, "Hey, you have a Mac, don't you?" Hey. But I got that finally, because every time I've tried to order one, they've sent me the wrong one. By the wrong one, they've sent me a USB thing. They've sent me a something for a different type of HTML cable. I don't have, but my mic uses. Sorry. With that, let us get on with today's lesson. Today's lesson: the types of magic and figuring out what is for you. In witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, all that kind of stuff, you know, there's different types of things you can do, types of deities you can worship, types of magic you can use. And I've done a lot of research into this, and there are different things that different places say, and different theories and different stuff. These are some of the more popular ones that I've noticed, but there's also a few that aren't even on the list. Some of them I find a little interesting, and I can't really see them as certain classes, like high magic and low magic, which high magic is more ceremonial, ritual kind of magic. Low magic is more earth, Loki based, quiet kind of thing. Divination obviously is a type of magic, but you can use that regardless. There's folk magic, there's elemental magic. Folk magic is passed down between families or through ceremonies and groups. Basically, you learn from the past, from your past family members if they are pagan, or from somebody else that is pagan that wants to pass it down. Or a witch or a Wiccan or whatever that wants to pass it down. Elemental magic, obviously you're working with the elements: earth, fire, water, air. You're working with those. Then you normally have tools or different symbols to do that. Mind you, I will say this right now, you can combine magics. You don't have to do them separate. Elemental magic can also harbor different types of magic within it, like candle magic, herb magic, kitchen magic, crystal magic, metal magic, which, that's a new one. Music magic, okay, that it's on the list. That is most popularly used, plus all the other sites that have it. Color magic, rune magic, tarot magic, moon magic, and practical magic, which practical magic is just normal magic, I guess. There are those types, but there are also other ones that they don't touch upon, which is what people like to call black magic, or the darker magic, which is normally centered around cursing or stuff like cursing and stuff like that. That's a little harmful, but not always. I mean, you can do a curse that oddly enough brings good luck, which is weird. I curse you with ethnic good luck. Yeah, it makes odd sense, but apparently people do that. Blood magic, where somebody actually uses their blood, animal blood, or voluntarily given blood from somebody else, not using it nefariously from someone, not like literally killing somebody and using their blood for it, because it is an essential of a person's life. there's that magic. We all know what candle magic. Candle magic obviously use candles like what's behind me for spells and such like that. Again, you can combine any magic work with any other magic work, like candle magic with rope magic, or any of that with anything, because it's easier to mix and use multiple items from anything. Along with crystal magic and candle magic, you can combine those two. Defense magic, which is more of I will help people do wards, I will help people do things to protect them, their family, their property, yada yada yada. Elemental, obviously working with everything around you again. Energy magic is working with the energy within yourself and around you. It is one of those types of magic that a lot of us use sometimes without thinking about it, and it's also why sometimes we feel a little drained after doing a spell, or sometimes we feel energized after doing a spell, depending on what kind of thing. Everything runs off of energy, and with that, you can combine it with other things. Her magic, touching more on that, is pretty much using herbs and potions that you make or have made. You don't necessarily eat or drink them. Using different things, and you can combine herbalism magic with, even some potions, with kitchen magic, because honestly, I don't know about you, but certain herbs taste very, very good in soups, like lavender, surprisingly enough. Healing magic is where you use energy and other things to help heal mind, body, and soul. Mind you, this is not a substitution to going to the doctor. If there's something seriously wrong with you, please go to the doctor. If you have a concussion, if you want to see a doctor, they're the modern day wizards of healing. No matter what kind of magic you do, you need to remember that sometimes science is magic that's understood, and that doctors are not the enemies, and that you can find a good doctor out there if you look. Illusion magic, you mostly see that with illusionists on the street, which is kind of, I like to call it phony magic, the, oh, I can levitate kind of bull. Kitchen magic, it's in your cooking. You do your spell work by your cooking, by your brewing, by your work in there. I mean, you can make any meal magical. You can add things to it to give it properties for more energy, better sleep, better sex, better everything. Quarter knot magic is obviously where you're using cords and using knots of different colors, different shades, different everything. It's an easy one for younger kids to learn. Okay. When it comes to things like necromancy, that is more or less, I don't see that as very many people actually practicing that. If they do, they're pretty much using the D&D terms or what they've seen in books. There's Reiki magic, which is using Reiki and other things to help heal the body, help heal the mind and soul. Again, not a substitution to go into the doctor. Rune magic. Yes, you're using runes instead of cords or candles, and normally you set up ceremonies around certain runes. I've done it once. It's interesting, but it works great in tandem with chaos magic, which we'll talk about that in a minute. Sigil magic, which is, again, another kind of drawing shapes and sigils. And using them in magic, you'll see like some places, like even our house, on our bathroom mirrors, we have sigils for protection, because Soren is very paranoid of mirrors. I'm not lying. Tea leaf reading and a few other things with that. those are hit or miss. They don't necessarily come true or anything like that. They can. They're like tarot. It's hit and miss. Weather magic, never used it. Can't really say to anyone who has. Things that I've noticed that aren't on these lists that you can find by any means of a Google search or looking in books. There was Green Man magic, which is using primarily the Green Man as your deity and going by that road. There's Druidic magic, which is using a certain pantheon along with certain belief patterns, and a lot of older ways that you might not be able to necessarily find. They're more of a newer age druid. You won't find people who practiced it like it was back in the times before the Romans and stuff like that. You won't find very many that know any of that stuff, because sadly, like a lot of different cultures, they did not write down a lot of their stuff. Most of the original druids, they're taught, from what I'm understanding or what have I been told, was word of mouth. They're taught by who teaches them, and who's passed down. And when more people are killed off because of practicing this, you lose a culture. You lose knowledge. Can we regain that knowledge? I don't know. Probably not. Chaos magic. There's different theories out there for it. There's different people saying, oh, you have to do this, oh, you have to do that, oh, it's this or that. Not necessarily. Every pantheon has at least one god that's a little bit more crazier than the others, or a little bit more chaotic than the others. I mean, when you look at the Greek pantheon, it's the Greek. It's kind of hard to find that, but you find it in, I believe it is Calypso. No, I don't remember her name. Yes, I have a list right in front of me, so I can figure it out. Of course, it doesn't have it in here. No. Not Hecate. Hecate's goddess of witches. I know some people say it's Calypso, some people say it's Kronos, some people say it's this person or that person. Honestly, it depends on who's saying what and where it's at. Unfortunately, the book I have doesn't give me very much details on certain things. And I can't quite find their Roman counterpart either. But there is, at least in most pantheons, one that's a little bit more chaotic than normal. Or a little bit more crazier than normal, and sometimes you can pinpoint that very easily. I would say Dionysus and Dionysus and Bacchus are a little bit more of the unwinding, chaotic, less party people. The Celtic pantheon, I'm not saying the Morgan because, no, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't studied way too much into them. I only know a couple. You look at the Nordic pantheon, and you can already point out that he has a symbol that he uses, which is Loki. Egyptian pantheon, it's hard to say that there is one. I don't even know if there's a god of unruly unrest. Because everything that I look at when somebody's like, oh, it's Set or Sit,
said, yeah, according to this, it is said. But he's more of the goddess form in chaos, although unfriendly and cruel, was really respected.
The thing is there's numerous gods and goddesses who hold the title of something over chaos, or using of chaos, or bringer of chaos, or something among that line. In each pantheon, there is two main things: order and chaos. You have the ones that keep order, keep peace, keep everything going well. You have the ones that keep chaos and destruction going as well. And I hate to say it, you cannot have complete order without chaos intermixed somewhere. You cannot have chaos without order intermixed. In a way, to me, they're balanced. So when it comes to chaos magic, it's adding more balance to the fire, if anything. You're adding more of one or the other. More or less, you're adding more chaos, especially when you see too much order going on. Can it be used for good? Yes. Can it be used for not so good purposes? Yes. Do people misuse it and misconstrue it and claim things that they shouldn't? Yes. Is it a path for everyone? No. Like with any magic, you find what you're comfortable using. You just don't jump into one and say, I'm going to do this forever. No, you do research into it, you look into it, you read into it, you look at any and all things that people have on it. You do your own take of it, and you go with what's comfortable for you. You don't go what's comfortable for somebody who's claiming to be, oh, I've done this for 8 years, and I know this and that about it, so you have to do exactly like this. No. You do your magic the way that you do it. There's no rhyme, no reason in the end. Whatever you feel comfortable doing, may it be candle magic, not magic, color magic, music magic, which if somebody does that, I'd love to hear about it. There's not much information I found on it. But chaos magic, green magic, white magic, black magic, whatever kind of magic that you feel comfortable doing, that you've been doing, that makes you feel like you, or that makes you feel like you're doing something in your craft, you do. You don't do what others say you should do. You do what you feel you need to in here. And sometimes it's the right path, sometimes it's the wrong path, but you won't know until you try. Never let somebody else tell you what you can and cannot do. But on the same note, never let somebody say, well, I know better than you because I've been doing this X amount of years. Not necessarily true. They may have been doing X amount of years, but how long have they been putting research into it? How long have they been actually looking into it? And then you have to look into this person's mentality and how they are and how they think it's supposed to work. Because there is one person that has been pointed out to me, and then I'm not naming names. They know who they are, and they know this, that they are the end-all, be-all when it comes to anything they decide to be this week. And from the time I've started to now, I have seen them change their, oh, I've been practicing this all my life. Oh, I've been actually practicing this all my life. Oh, I've been doing this for 10 years, or I've been doing this for X amount of years. I have seen them jump between things, and apparently they have students, and that worries me. That worries me a lot, because they're passing off information that may not necessarily be true. But like I said, I encourage everyone to look into what they want to do or what might strike their interest. I may have not named a magic on here that you want to do. I may have not named something that you actually do. And if so, please comment in the description below and let me know what kind of magic you do. Because you don't necessarily need to use the elements. You don't necessarily need to use a god or goddess. You don't necessarily need to use anything but yourself. Magic in our craft practice is what comes from us. We are walking magic as is. Never forget that. What you choose to work with is your choice. May it be any of what I've mentioned or what I have not mentioned. I may say, that sounds like something out of a D&D book, but that doesn't mean it is. It may be more to you than it is to me. So, with that, I'll leave you with study, study, study. Look into everything. Look into everyone. And never settle just because somebody says you should. This is Loki, and I hope you have a great week.